Tabor, just coming off last year, how are you approaching this year, given it's a new group of guys and a fresh slate where you haven't won anything this year?
Right. Obviously, program best in what we did last year and achieving the NCAA tournament and getting our first win there. But at the end of the day, that's in the rear view now, and we have a different group this year. Fortunately, a lot of the guys are returning, but there's still going to be a different pieces that we want to like imply and rope in these newer guys into our culture and like what we believe in and what's going to end up giving us success down the road. So kind of just focusing on creating that brotherhood again in that room and just building pieces off of last year. Not really focusing too much on the results we had last year, but just what's ahead of us and what's to come.
Ryan, a lot was said last year about Hudson and John Spetz and what they did in the summer to kind of establish a new culture, new standards, etc., that they wanted to pass on after they left. What have you guys been able to do? How have you gone about kind of continuity with that, keeping that going?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of that might have to stay in the locker room. I mean, it's a lot of it's internal things that we work on to establish a culture of, like Tabor said, a brotherhood and a family in there. But you know, Huddy and John set a great foundation for us last year. I mean, I don't know if any of you picked us to be in the tournament last year, and anyone else, any other reporters. So, you know, we got to build off that. And I think we're happy with the year. We're happy making the tournament and making a little bit of history. But you know, moving forward, that's kind of now the standard. And you know, going forward, you know, it's something that we expect and hopefully can build off on.
Joey, after the year you had last year, what are you looking to do this year? Are you looking to improve in any areas, and just how do you follow it up?
Right. I mean, I think there's always room for improvement. You know, I think there's times where you have to reflect, kind of be realistic. You know, it's like 29 goals. It's a lot of goals in college hockey. You know, I can't put too much pressure on myself. I try not to. You know, I think I kind of look at it like this year, let's try to be a good leader, try to be a good captain. Let's try to maybe get more assists, try to make more plays, stuff like that. Just, you know, try to round out my game in all areas and kind of carry that into the pro level for the following, you know, years to come.
Tabor, how's the blending gone with the new guys? How have they fit in so far?
Yeah, not too big of a group, but definitely a little, like, good size, 7 guys coming in. They're all great guys. It's just been awesome. Just kind of brings me back a little bit to like whenever I came in my freshman year and just seeing how everything's like, oh wow, you got to do this, you got to do that. You're kind of just in the whirlwind. But you know, I think they've done a good job using their resources and everything that we have here, and especially like leaning on us, just kind of asking and just absorbing everything. Like they're just being sponges in this training camp process and during the summer as well. So they've all been great thus far.
Tabor, kind of in that same vein, but this is the first year that major junior guys can play college hockey. So just specifically with Carlin and Alexander, is there anything different about them coming in compared to like a typical freshman coming out of the USHL or the BCHL that you notice?
Nothing out of the ordinary. I just think some of the differences would be like they're used to playing such a long season with so many more games. So I think we've kind of just tried to like implement how important every day is here and like how much each game means at the end of the day. So, I mean, all good personality guys in there. Been an absolute treat just watching them grow since even the summer. I mean, it's just they've been nothing but great. So yeah, all good kids, and I'm just excited to see them perform.
For all of you, the top 10 preseason poll, the standard you set last year, you hear hockey teams talk a lot about getting teams best when you set that standard. Is that something you guys talk about, expecting other teams best to gear up for you this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I think we're trying to go into every game kind of with just the same mindset, right? Like, we have our saying, or it's like, respect all but fear none. You know, there's also other teams in our conference that are in the top 10 and that have historic programs, and it's just you treat every team in our conference, especially the Hockey East, with respect, and just know that on any given night, any team could beat you. And that's just how it works in college hockey. So I think that we've just been trying to keep a level head of like knowing that we are going to get the best now that we kind of set that standard last year. But also we have to remember that there are still, reporters and I guess social media people out there that still aren't respecting us. A lot of our the freshman class, they weren't even ranked in like the top 20 in a lot of these polls. So I think that we like to keep that edge to ourselves and kind of always have that fight, like we still have something to prove.
Ryan, how is the vibe different just coming in after what you did last year from previous years? Essentially, you guys achieved the goal that you had. How is the vibe different coming in?
I think, every year the vibe is different, to be honest. I think it's been really good. It's been really positive. It's been pretty easy to mesh with the new guys. But I also think there's been a lot of a lot of intent in everything we do, and that's something that maybe not differed from previous years, but I think it's something that I really noticed this year is everything we've been doing from the first day of practice, even from the summer session. It's been very meaningful and there's a lot of intent with all our actions. So maybe that's one difference. Not to say we weren't had that before, but it's been very noticeable.
Joey, do you have much interaction with Skylar Bell? You seem to be like his favorite guy.
No, I mean, whenever I see him on campus or I see him, in the town, I always make sure to say hi. Mm-hmm. But no, it's definitely just like a cool little thing to have. Just, familiar face, another athlete on the football team. We don't really get to interact with them too often. So whenever I get a chance, I always say hi. And I know that he played hockey growing up, and I watched that video of him watching our game against Alaska. So that was pretty funny. I think ever since that video came out, it was always something where we would kind of just say what's up to each other in public and stuff like that. So,
if you each can talk on this, does leadership come naturally for you?
I feel like in its own ways. I think everybody's a leader in a different way, but I just think with us being here and we've kind of had different experiences elsewhere. Maybe a little bit more vocal than some other guys. It's hard for other guys and everybody else to be super vocal, but I think just having that and then like the trust of the guys in the room having us has been like beneficial to us being in the seats that we are in today. So kind of just that aspect of it, but I think everybody on our team is a leader. Everybody has their own ways that they step up and do things differently or however hard they work, but I think just like maybe we're a little bit more vocal than some other guys, or maybe some of the little things that might go like unnoticed that have just put the trust in the guys in the room to have voted us to be where we are. So just stuff like that.
I think for me personally, to build off what he said too, like we always are learning, and like we're named captains of the team and whatnot, but we all learn from the freshmen. We all learn from each other. So. It's kind of an ongoing process of growing and developing and becoming a better leader. I mean, I think about things from the captains I've had my freshman and sophomore years, and think about those things, and some good, some bad, and you got to learn and grow from that to try to be the best leader for your teammates.
Yeah, I just think that kind of like what Ryan said, a lot of it's learning and observing. I think last year I did a lot of observing on Hudson and John. I kind of just nitpicking like what parts of their leadership I kind of wanted to portray and what I had the ability to portray out to everybody, right? Because not everybody could be, kind of have that psycho mentality like John Spetz brought to the locker room, which was awesome, right? So I think I bring a lot of kind of what Hudson had, and just kind of hearing people out, always being a guy that someone could talk to. Kind of looking at things from everyone's perspective, trying to hear everyone out, stuff like that. So, kind of just what Ryan said. It's been a learning process, and it's been one of those things where you kind of pick and choose what you have the ability to do and what you can bring to the table.
So you've eliminated yourself, so which of you two is more of a Spetz type?
No comment.
part of the reason that you guys had so much success last year was the development of Kai and Trey at the blue line. What are you hoping from that group and those two particularly? What kind of jump have they taken in your when you watch them in practice from last year?
Right. I mean, I think just any year that you get under your belt is always going to be a learning curve, and they were awesome for us last year, along with the other guys in the D-Corps, Viking, Messinio. But yeah, I just think like those guys having that year last year, and especially like the year that we had, there was a lot to see and a lot to learn from. I think it just made them even more hungrier coming into this year. Like, there's no certainty in like any spot. I mean, even for like us, you're still gonna have to come in training camp and work for it. But obviously, you've just like been there previously, and you kind of have seen where you were and how much you want to grow and how you want to perform going on. So I think just they're a little bit more hungry this year, and obviously they've had that confidence. And like I said, like everybody's a leader on our team, so they're also filling that role of like bringing the new guys under, like Anthony or like Fitzy, who ended up missing out a lot of last year or the whole year last year. So like everybody just leaning on each other in a little bit in like those sort of ways.
After the experience in Allentown, going into the off season, does it come a point where like, hey, I know there's more to give from this group of me as an individual, and how do you get that going forward to show on the ice?
Yeah, 100%. I think, especially with the off-ice training, our trainer Mo does an unbelievable job with us, getting us ready and physically prepared for the draining tasks it takes to, play that long into the year. And then coming in, like, I think it's just like we got there last year and, like, it was like we got our win, but that's not what we wanted. Like, we wanted to be holding that championship at the end of the day. So I think that just drives a lot of it naturally. And then coming for the guys that were there last year, just kind of pushing each other and bringing it every single day and knowing what it takes to get there.
You guys lost Callum to the pros, but you returned Tyler. What have you seen from the recruits that have come in this year so far?
Yeah, I think they've been awesome. I mean, just between the freshmen, Sanborn and Hendy. I mean, Hendy's an unbelievable goalie. He was just at the USA World Junior camp invite this summer. I mean, it's like realistically for any freshman goalie to come in, it's going to be a learning step for them in college hockey. Like, I don't think any freshman really comes in and just performs. It's not a regular thing to do. But I think it's good that they have a guy like Tyler to bounce ideas off of and kind of learn from for this year. So,
Jeremy, what was your biggest area of growth personally last year, and how do you build on that?
Pardon?
What was the biggest area of growth for you personally last year, and how do you build on that?
Yeah, I mean, I just think compared to my freshman year, I think I took a lot of time to develop my game in a defensive way. And just kind of learn how to play a 200-foot game because I was playing on the third, fourth line all year, my freshman year. So it was definitely something to learn from and reflect on going into my sophomore year. And then I think I kind of just tried to bring all those aspects that I wanted to grow on, and I worked on them. And then it ended up just playing out and working out for me, just playing that defensive side and then knowing that the offense will come. And sticking to our systems and everything that the coaches were kind of, portraying out to us and the systems that they wanted us to follow. So, it was kind of just believing in what they were telling us and just following the process.
On that, what's the chemistry like with you and Jake? I mean, you had some amazing chemistry last season. Did it come through hard work? Does it come naturally? A little bit of both? Yeah,
I mean, me and him have – we lived together this year. We lived together last year. It was something, I guess, kind of just coming in. Like, he was probably the first freshman then in my class that I was texting coming into my freshman year. So it was kind of just something that, we had some mutual friends coming into it. And since then, we kind of just were always with each other. Like, we spend every day together. We cook each other meals. We join classes together. I mean, it's something that starts off the ice, and I think that's basically all it is. It's all just off ice stuff that we literally do everything together. and then it kind of just makes it like that much easier on the ice. And then, you know, obviously there's the extra stuff. You know, it's staying after practice and just like feeding each other one-timers or just getting each other passes and working on stuff together. You know, it's just, but I would say mainly it's all the off-ice stuff, which I think has played an important role just for our whole team. That's, I think that we really emphasize that, is being best friends off the ice and brothers, and it just makes going on the ice and so much easier.
On your system play, if you could talk about the defense and the synergy with the familiarity coming back, especially Ryan and Tabor. How does that help or play out at the beginning of a year on things like your breakout and having that familiarity with that returning defense?
Yeah, I think having a lot of returners in general helps just rope the new guys in right away. Like, our systems may be a little unorthodox at times. I think coming from juniors, a lot of guys play a different system, but for us, you know, we play our own kind of brand, and, you know, having, like you said, a couple older defensemen kind of teach the new guys kind of what we do and how we operate. We do a lot of monotonous things where it's, you know, maybe a 5-on-0 breakout drill just to really understand what reps we're going to get. But I think that stuff really helps, and, you know, all those repetitions we take in practice, we take them seriously, and, you know, even when you're on the bench just watching, you're learning from everyone else. So I would say those are probably two of the biggest things that help us.
We got time for one more, guys. Anything?
Ryan, just anything that this team does differently than last year's team on the ice? Like, are you faster? Are you stronger? Do you hit harder? Anything like that? Or any of you, if you have anything?
This year's team compared to last year's?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're hungry.
Yeah.
Hungrier. That's a good one. I would say we're a lot hungrier. You know, I think obviously going into last year, we were a hungry team. You know, it seemed to be like every year. Polls come out, nobody respected us. But I think just after last season, we just have this bad taste in our mouth that, you know, it was just, it's not, you can't really describe it. It just doesn't sit well after what happened in Allentown. So yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
Get hungrier once you've had a taste of it.
Yeah, exactly.